pre-show business.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, first of all, before we get into pre-show business, and there's no such thing as pre-show business, thank you and welcome again to the third show, people. With my brother Shannon, big brother Smitty. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. And Beatrice, how you doing, girl? Always with us, even though you ain't here. So today's, I can't. So you missed the conversation, two conversations. One about Shannon's mean fish that's tried to get at me twice.
It's not a fish.
It's not a fish. It's somehow related to the pterodactyls.
It's still one of God's creatures.
Miss me when you say that. Two, how me nor Smitty are ever taking our wives to Indonesia because they got 3-foot tree crabs.
Absolutely.
It's never going to happen.
You'll never find me
There's
there.
just no, unless you want a divorce, you don't go there.
Hey, unless y'all want to put up bail money.
International bail money, so we never know when we're going to get out.
Absolutely. That part right there. International bail money, that's totally different than the bail money we talk about over here in America.
Yes. So no telling how that works out. And I don't even understand conversion rates that well to be talking about bail money. So I'm okay.
Yeah. And then we got to add extradition on there. I ain't trying to be extradited for nothing.
I don't want to be in that situation. Over no crab. That I can't even eat.
Hey, how do you go through life with extradition?
You're rap shit. Bruh, I'm telling you, that's just like getting a face tattoo. You in a whole different level.
Right. You're not getting rid of that.
No. You decided to make some decisions that are gonna stick with you.
You got extradited. Hold on. You got extradited. Extradited, let's say when you was 21, right? At 40, at Thanksgiving dinner, that's still a conversation. This nigga got extradited.
Remember that time you got extradited? What? Yeah, I remember. Whatever.
Why you gotta bring that up? Why you
gotta keep bringing up old stuff? Told you ain't perfect. You ain't all that. Extradited some or something.
You can't even spell extradited.
Back up off me.
Right?
Uncle Tommy.
Wait, hold on.
You finna spell it?
EX.
Don't try it.
Don't.
They're gonna be stuck right there with the EXT, and then that's you know what? We ain't even talking about that.
We ain't talking about that no more. So anyway, we decided today's show is gonna be lightweight serious, I guess.
Are they ever not?
Lightweight, always lightweight. You're right. I don't think we're gonna have a show like last week because last week's show kind of took a turn almost.
Last week's show was Shannon's Fish, Gucci Mane.
It
had its own vibe, came out of nowhere.
Gucci Gatorback all the way.
Gucci Gatorback.
But you know
Shout out.
Hold on, Shannon. Show them a picture. Show everybody a quick picture of Gucci Gatorback,
please.
And then get back to the thing.
Let's get a good picture.
Showing everybody what Gucci Gatorback looked like.
The fish's name is Gucci Gatorback.
We apologize for that. Number one. Gucci. There it is. Stupid fish try to get at me twice, but I'm gonna give me a Maine Coon and throw that thing in the tank and see who come out.
Hey, for fish lovers out there who watch us on YouTube or however you check us out, man, send us a picture of your fish.
Your fish. That's an ugly fish.
Yeah. That's a beautiful fish.
But hey, don't send us pictures of piranhas, and we gotta report you.
Yes, because you shouldn't have them.
Right.
Just to be on the up and up, and we don't want to be involved. We may end up extradited from the States.
Since you said we're not, you know what? And both of y'all, because I don't want to forget this point. Our show last week, I did want to touch on one piece of that.
What's up?
Because me and you had this conversation earlier. Everybody's been talking about it. Well, about the Asian community.
Mm-hmm.
And while I feel bad for what took place, this is nothing new with the Asian community. It's the climate. And that's what people need to be aware of. The climate. The climate has changed.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? The funny thing, not the funny thing, but the funny thing is, we actually, and we talked about this, right now, we actually have, we can say where this particular level of hate and violence started. Because the first time Trump said the China flu, boom, all his little followers and minions took that upon themselves to, oh, let's go out and start beating Asian people. No, stupid. He gave it a name, but you don't understand the difference between someone who's Vietnamese, someone who's Korean, a Filipino,
Laotian.
Laotian. You just went after anything that you may, and your shotgun Ford driving self think that is Chinese or Wong or whatever stupid name that you want to put on, and it's just ignorant.
Can I interject on that?
Please.
My thoughts on that. Thank you for bringing it up, Shannon. Is it's the low hanging fruit and the scapegoat. If you that's white Americans. That's their go-to. That's the tactic. Is to put something that they can't explain onto somebody else.
They got to kill it.
Yeah. If you look at the plague, they do that on Russia and other Europeans. They didn't claim it as American, right? You look at when AIDS popped off. They first they tried to put it on homosexuals, and then when that didn't work out that well, they put it in the Negro community, saying we're just fucking around without no condoms and we're shooting up, getting high on drugs.
We're savages anyway.
Yeah, and the drugs that they put in our community, and that can never happen to the more refined, dignified white American community. And then look what happened. It got there.
That's God-fearing people. Remember
when this came about, it's easy to say, oh look, it came from China, so it's a Chinese virus, and if you're Chinese, you have it. And so it's easy to now. Like you said, Troy, you get these followers of people. It's a cult. Once one the leader says something, they fall in line. And now Asian hate has been going on for as long as Asians been alive. But look how easy it is now. You can attack an Asian without even no reason other than you have this man connected them to a virus. I mean, how fucking ugly is that, man? I mean, excuse my language, but
how ugly? Well, actually, first of all, you usually cuss, but later on, this is early for you to be dropping the F-bomb.
Man, I had
usually you cuss when doing the second segment.
I came out, and I
very appropriate.
Vile.
But Shannon's right, though. I mean, this is like, really? Y'all don't want to give it a name because you may think it may offend somebody, but we have a group of people who are being attacked for no reason, but the idiocy in it is that you think this is the first time.
Hey, quick question. You got 5 seconds. Name a white American disease.
Name
all of them.
Chickenpox, measles. What else? What else you want to throw out there? Syphilis.
Lice. How many bruhs do you know get lice?
Lice. Right?
Come on.
Just on their own.
Just out of nowhere?
Just out of nowhere?
Just out of nowhere?
Tamika, you got lice? No. Tammy had it.
I might have dandruff, but I ain't got lice.
I ain't got lice.
Yeah,
But but it's facts though. I mean, it's easy. Just go back to how Trump got elected. He decided to blame immigrants from Mexico.
Correct.
The funniest part about that is, dude, your daddy an immigrant.
Man, and your wife,
boo. You bought that.
Your Playboy slut wife is an immigrant, bro.
You paid money for that, bro. You know where you got that from.
And your mammy.
Leave people's mama alone. But his daddy and his wife.
Yeah, you said daddy and wife. I'm saying daddy and mammy, as they used to call them back in the day. Mammy and pappy.
Yeah.
I had an interesting conversation about mammy too.
But I think that's a valid point, Troy, is when you start deflecting, and again, I have to go back because it is what it is. And you talk about religion and people just following blindly what the person says that you believe in saying this word. When you have this cult mentality and then you put something out there, people that's drunk on the Kool-Aid, they're gonna follow along. They're gonna go with it. So once he shot out that it's the Asian flu,
Right?
man, that was just that's a softball home run, man.
Man. And it was like, really? Y'all gonna bite on the Asian flu and let him say it as if it's going to be okay. It's no big deal that he says that. That there's, what was it? I was listening to Jamel, and she was like, and she made just a common quote, freedom of speech is our right.
Mhm.
But with that, there are also consequences in what you say.
Right.
And there's always consequences. And here's the problem. I've always said that nothing is new about this one incident. Nothing is new about any incident. It's just what media tends to highlight for that week. But yet,
Sensationalism.
but yet the one main thing that they're not highlighting is one of our own, a sister, a representative of the state of Georgia.
Oh, got arrested.
Got arrested for doing her damn job.
Georgia, let me tell y'all something.
Is off the hook.
Y'all done lost your damn mind.
Yeah.
Y'all, man, just what? How?
No, Troy. No. What you seeing in Georgia is white folks losing their mind because they're losing control.
Yes.
That's what you see.
Yes.
That's what you're seeing right now in our very. It's just
right in front of us, and they can see it. They can feel it that they're losing it. That
Absolutely.
once the senator got elected, they didn't win those races.
Right.
They just and this is the other thing. The governor now, he just won his election.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to end up losing it in a year and a half to
Absolutely.
the sister. And you're right. This is one of those panic mode things.
Yes.
So now, what is it? Now you can't, excuse me. And I not downloaded it, and I'm going to read it later on, the whole bill. And the funny part about it is, this bill would, if it was passed, let's say last year,
mm-hmm.
everything that Trump tried to do
mm-hmm.
would have been legal.
Correct.
So these fools saying now that they can go in, well, we don't like that district and how that turned out. Let's go recount them votes.
Yeah.
Hold on. But hold on, just real quick. Not only can we go recount them, we're going to completely take away the people who are certified and trained to count votes and do all this stuff. We're taking them out of the picture and bringing in our own people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think there's nothing funny about that?
No, there's a lot funny, as and so our viewers know, because our show and our brother Smitty, he wanted to talk about mental health issues.
Oh, we're gonna get on that.
In the African American male community. But since we're talking about this, we have to look at the mentality of these white people that are behind this. Are they stable? Are they actually thinking logically?
Oh, no,
we need to look at their mental health.
Shannon, you know this saying, fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
And people doing it, it's actually a military term. But it's fight or flight, meaning you either ditch and run or you take up arms. They are seeing, like you just said, Smitty, they are seeing a wave of them losing control. They lost an election. They tried to say that it was stolen. It wasn't. So this is what can we do? We can't win fairly. We can't. Trump wasn't big enough to bully. And even if, and this is the funny part, because I'll say it, I was nervous when he said, you know what, I'm going to take this to the Supreme Court. And I was like, okay, this is going to be tight, because what was it? 5 of them is his, 3 of them he appointed.
Mm-hmm.
And he had two other conservatives. So you only had the 2, liberals on it. So it was like, okay, what's going to happen? But then when they was like, oh no, he crazy. I was like, oh, they've lost it. Absolutely. They don't know what to do now.
Absolutely. And
they don't know what to do.
If you look across the country, and again, I don't care what, if you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green, Patriot, I don't care. When white Americans, blue blood, generational, have start to see like it's losing their stronghold, that's when you start to see panic set in, and then all of a sudden you go back to what I always say. I've been saying this since the first show. They do the old Charlie Brown and Lucy on you.
Move that ball.
Oh shit! Not today, niggas. You ain't getting it today. Law in place, you know.
Nope. Facts.
But you see how this is working now. They're behind the scenes, and keep this in mind, because we know who controls the media. So all this stuff is taking place with our Asian Americans, while they're still behind the scenes trying to destroy and make it harder for us as blacks.
Oh yeah.
So look at the mental state of that.
Well, and you know what? And it's one of those things that they don't want to have repeat itself. Because if you go back, the civil rights movement opened the doors for immigration. And we had during that time, you know, it was a lot of black folks and we trying to get our right to vote. But at the same time, you had a huge influx of Asians coming to this country. And it's one of those things right now, the Asian community, if you listen to a lot of them who understand their history, will thank the civil rights movement because that's how they were allowed into this country. And now you have, just how we were talking about last show, you have a lot of the media and a lot of these social things putting out there that it's a lot of black on Asian crime, which is not true.
It's funny that you bring that up because somebody actually asked me a question about that, you know, how different cities operate when it comes to the Asian community, the black community. And I had to relate to them and tell them, it all depends on where you're from. You know, and in Illinois, prime example, Illinois, Wisconsin, you don't really hear about blacks entering into, as they call them, Chinatown or the Asian communities. You don't hear about that. And the reason why you don't hear about it is because it's like already a precedence of known sense that that's not where you go. It's just like in Illinois, you have Little Italy, where all the Italians are. You black, you already know they're racist. You don't go over there.
Yeah, you ain't no business going there.
Right, you got no business going there. And they made an example out of a black person for coming over there. They tied him up and they drug him behind a truck. But just the same way they don't want us over there, they don't come in our neighborhoods.
You know, now, I agree with you, Shannon. You know, that's the problem, and that's how they keep us apart. And I think Georgia's a prime example. Again, I'm gonna go back to that because you had black folks in Georgia coming out of the woodworks to vote who never voted before. You had white folks vote. White trash white folks was voting who never voted before, who never thought their voice was heard. So now you're giving these people a voice to hear. And I think this is the big picture, since you brought it up, Shannon, about the whole civil rights movement. And Troy, you mentioned on it, how it allowed for, you know, Asians and Latinos all to make this move and be a part of this country. See, if we go back to the first Civil Rights Act of 1868, that made it was, if you was born in this country, you was a citizen. So that's the whole argument now with DACA and Dreamers and all of these folks who were born here, but their parents they ain't got no papers, right? You're going against your own constitution and your laws when you say, oh, they can't vote. And that's that whole Georgia thing right now. They trying to put in shit in there like, oh, you can't vote because you can't get here. You don't have ID, this, that, and the third. You know, that's going directly against 1868. If you're born in this country, whether your mama and your daddy and your granddaddy got papers or not, you're a citizen. 1868 Civil Rights Act. That's the problem. That's the problem. Their own words is coming to bite them in the ass. The roosters is coming home to roost. The fucking cows is coming home to pasture. The pigs is flying. The bacon is being burnt.
The bacon? Really?
Hey, bro.
Throw out one more meat and we should be okay.
Look here. Shannon's fish could be fried if you keep messing with Troy. Yes,
facts.
It's a problem.
That's facts. And that's not cool either.
That's
Let's not even go there because that's
you know what? Ain't nothing gonna happen to the fish. We're not about animal cruelty here. And if Troy has a problem with the fish,
I want you to remember what you just said too. I want you to remember
Stay
them
6
words.
feet away.
We ain't got no problem with animal cruelty.
The issue, the bottom line is voting. That's the bottom
Yes.
line. So if you look at colonialism, that's they built this on voting. You have the right to vote because we don't have a king, we don't have a queen. We have elected officials.
So
So
vote.
But see, and here's the problem though. You got to also look at it. And I had
Oh, wait, Shannon, back to your point earlier.
What?
That lady, they charged her with a felony.
Yeah, no.
They
this
charged
is
that
the
lady
problem.
with a felony. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I think what people need to understand is that this country will never be just. You can, you have plenty of people that run around and praise red, white, and blue for what? This country will never be just. The laws will never be just. This country was formulated by criminals.
Mhm.
And
rebels.
the laws are
rebels.
Yeah,
They were rebels.
I'm not calling them rebels. Let's call them what they are. They're criminals. Because in layman's terms, they're criminals. When you look at it today, if they did what they did nowadays, it's a criminal charge.
Pulled that off January 6th, the same thing.
Absolutely.
And it is. But you're right, Shannon. This country will not be the level of quote unquote equality that everybody wants to speak about now.
And people need to stop talking about being. People need to, and because I've gotten tired, this year and last year has worn me out with the word equality and equitable. If you don't feel you're being treated, if you don't feel you're being treated equal, get your ass up and walk away from the table and go somewhere where you can feel that treatment that you want. If you have a problem with, you feel this group of people aren't equitable in a form or fashion, take what the hell you want, get the hell out of there.
Let me say this, Shannon, because I again, I want to, and I love how you just bring shit up. You set it up on a tee for me. If you're waiting for America to be fair and this equitable, all of these words, I just ask y'all to look at this. Part of the Constitution and just judicial system says you can get a trial of your peers, right?
Yeah.
How funny is that? Just think about this.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Theory of your peers. Well, that was based on everybody being white in this land, and then niggas being dogs and animals, basically.
3/5.
And all of a sudden, now we start to evolve. And now, if you look around and try to get a jury of your peers, what do your peers look like?
Yeah.
If I have to go to court, no, I shouldn't say that. If I have to go to a jury or to a trial, and I'm on the stand, and I'm asking for a jury of my peers, how many black folks is going to be doing what I do? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get that because they was just taking it for granted that back in the day when they wrote this jurisdiction and these laws, that for the rest of the time the jury was going to be white
all the time.
So it didn't matter what your job was. Everybody in the jury is going to be white, so it didn't matter. Now, today's you can't go to court today and get a fair trial because nobody in that's not a jury of your peers.
But it really depends on where you're at. It really does.
It does. And let me say this, and this may offend some people, but it is what it is right now. It really. If you're a drug dealer, and I've always had this model, if you're a drug dealer, and this is what you do, be the best damn drug dealer you can be. But at the same time,
I second that emotion.
At the same time, when your ass get arrested, and you will eventually get arrested, don't go to court and cop to no damn plea. That's why so many brothers and sisters are locked up now, because they fall prey to this plea bargaining stuff. Take it to trial. Take it to trial. They can't afford. If people use common sense, you out here selling drugs, you doing math, you weighing 8s and 16ths, and you flipping stuff. If you have this common sense of math, understand the financial market and makeup of the court system. Our judicial system, if everybody right now that's on trial was actually going to trial, it would overload the system. They can't afford it.
That's why they
And
do.
you
That's why they
putting people
offer
in the
plea
jail.
deals.
Yeah.
You know what kills me? What kills me about drug dealers and law enforcement is it's not illegal to make drugs. It's not illegal. You can make whatever you want to. It's
You can't
distribution
sell it.
that gets you.
Yeah.
But what's funny about that is pharmaceutical companies make the most money in this goddamn world, and they ain't in trouble. And they
They make the worst drugs.
they sell everything to make a headache go away, to make your penis hard. So, you know,
Dude, we
don't
got
talk
one of
to
the
me,
biggest. We got one of the biggest drug suppliers here, CVS.
CVS.
That's funny. I do. Every time you say that, that cracks me up a little bit.
And it's hilarious because it's so true. You can't make this shit up.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
No.
And-
but,
and- and-
but get this: if you black and you get arrested, get caught with a quarter a key or a four and a split. And to those viewers, we know a little bit about this and that. But at the same time, get caught with that. They
I
gonna
have
hit
no
your
idea
ass.
what they're talking about at this point.
They gonna hit your ass with what's called a drug tax stamp.
Mm.
They're gonna tax you on what you've been distributing. How is that legal?
So I man, Shannon, boy, you the man, dog. How hilarious is this? In a court of law, you're supposed to have witnesses to say, yeah, he did that. I ain't never known a dope fiend to rat on their supplier. So how are you gonna tell me there's a fair trial jumping off against me when you ain't got nobody over here to say you seen me serving these clowns? And if I was with them, we could have been talking about something else. I don't know. I'm just, it's so funny how the law works when it wants to work its own way, you know? And I say that because I think it's hilarious what people focus on about sensationalism that Shannon brought up earlier. Because this is what I noticed within the last couple of weeks. Before 45 got out the office, there was no talk about people coming here down at the southern border.
Yeah.
It was not a problem. It was not a problem.
Facts, right? And all of a sudden,
Now, all of a sudden, it's a problem because a different president is not the president
that they want.
wanted.
Yeah.
And he changed some laws. But since I was a kid in the 70s, I remember this being an issue. And it's
Oh, it's
still
always
an
been
issue.
an issue.
Yes.
Always. Let me hit on that just real quick. Because one of the biggest arguments that America has always had, we can't keep letting them in here and taking our jobs. Okay.
Oh.
Shannon, I cannot go to the school right now and take your job. Smith, there is no one that can come and take your job. But what can happen is they can come and hire somebody else to remove you, to take your place. But once again, it's always easier to find somebody to blame because you never heard the construction industry said, hey, yeah, let's stop having them coming in here and taking these good American jobs. No. Why? Because they make too much money off of these my Mexican brothers and sisters.
The same people 45 was trying to keep out with that wall. He had working for him on his construction sites
every day.
Every day, cheap labor.
Ain't no one
Every
tripping on
golf
that.
course he's ever built, they had at least 75% of the Hispanics doing labor.
And here's the whole stupid part about this whole thing. And I'm really, anybody who believes we need a border wall can kiss my ass because we don't. Because I'm gonna tell you right now,
there's no point.
No, there's no point. There's no point in it. And at the same time, I would like to see a bunch of white people
get out there and do my yard.
No, not even in the yard. I want to see them out in them fields picking fruits and stuff.
Go get my strawberries.
Or are they scared of melanoma? Skin cancer. So, you know what? Matter of fact, and
get
even to go back to
some
that,
oranges.
Troy, me and you watched that little video at that presentation. Dolores said it best. Smitty, I wish you would have heard it, bruh, because I won't forget it. She said, and this is a Hispanic woman, we all originated in Africa, the
Yes, she
motherland.
did. We all originated from
Well,
black people.
right.
That was fun.
And she said, everybody. She said, the only thing that happened as we migrated, some of us lost our color. And now they going to the beach trying to get it back.
Mhm.
That's fun.
Absolutely.
But they will not go into a field to try to get it back.
You know, and that's
They will
that's,
not
that's
go get my grapefruits.
no, and that's two things. You can drive any highway at any farm and not see one white American out there picking anything.
They
Anything.
ain't got enough
Plowing
suntan. They ain't got enough
But you're
suntan.
going to complain.
But you're gonna complain.
And that's
that
my
they took
thing,
your
that
work.
they're taking, there's no way in the world that someone can come and take a job.
Let me say this. Two things to Shannon's point about the wall. You can build that wall 100 feet, 300 feet high, 50 feet thick. It doesn't, let me tell you something. When you're desperate, you're gonna do whatever it takes by any means to get to somewhere where you're trying to go. So it doesn't matter what wall you build. It looks good. It sounds good to the people drinking the Kool-Aid, sure. You know, but at the end of the day, all it is just a symbol because folks is going to get here whether they want to or not. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even subscribe to that theory. And again, I always like to use white Americans' words against them in the Constitution. Give us your yearning that's yearning to be free. Give us all of these people. We're a melting pot. Oh, what? We're only a melting pot when they are white passable, like Irishmen and Italians and Czechoslovakians and Polish. That's the only melting pot we're trying to build. So don't sit here and tell me that you're trying to keep people out. But and they're taking our jobs. And then I'm gonna share this real quick. I used to do construction. I worked with a Latino man who told me a story. He snuck here. He paid a man $1,500 to get him here from Jalisco, Mexico. He got him to the border. Once he got him to the border, he said, "You're on your own." So this man, and if he's lying, he's telling a lie. He said once he crossed the border in somewhere in Texas, he walked for 45 days through the friggin' heat and hills and desert or whatever to try to get to some place where he was supposed to meet another gentleman who he didn't know, which he never did because he didn't know who he was. He said, so he just ended up meeting some other folks and they ended up getting like a $2 job on the side of the road. And then they go into the fields and they're picking potatoes for 20 cents a potato, 20 cents a potato. So don't tell me they're here taking your jobs because I don't know damn white American person that's going to do any job where there's 20 cents a
potato.
You know, yeah. I don't want to hear that. That's played out. And then he saved enough money to get his wife and his daughter over here, making 20 cents a potato. Man, come on. That's the kind of cat I want working for me. That's the kind of cat I want running my corporate America.
No, I'm going to tell you, that's the kind of cat that these construction dudes, these farmers hire.
Yes.
So once again, white America, stop blaming these people for taking your jobs. Go to your brother, go to your cousin, and then look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm going to do that job. So because if you feel that strongly about it, you need to say, you know what? I'm going to do that job. So they can't come in here and take our jobs. But that's not what's going to happen at all. So let that go. It just gets annoying.
It's past annoying. It really is.
It's dumb. It really is. You're right, Shannon. It really is. It really is.
Hey, so can we talk about some mental health right quick, man? Because I think a lot of this what we're talking about right now kind of goes into some mental health issues, and it's not just our white American brothers and sisters. You know, it's our folks that
yeah.
got
So let me. So I did want to touch on that issue of mental health, and
hold on.
I really did. So
wait,
let me pose.
No. Hold on. Before we get started on that, let me tell you what Shannon said to me yesterday. What this dude dropped on me. He was like, yeah, you know, me and Smitty, we talked about we want to do mental health on the show on Friday. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I seen the text. That's cool. That'll work. Yeah, and we're really gonna need your input. I'm like, why are you gonna need my input? Well, you seem to have a lot of issues, so. And I'm gonna tell you. So the first thing out of my head was, bruh, really? And then it hit me. The dude with PTSD gonna tell me I got issues.
Hey, deflection, baby, deflection.
Right? Either that or I really have to look at myself as how many issues do I actually have? Do I really have? I mean, because I do have some. I'm not gonna lie. We all
Hey,
do.
Troy, hey, Troy, basically he said, hey, me and Smith want to invite you to the couch. That's some shit we gonna talk to you about.
It's an intervention. You didn't have some stuff. Me and Smith talked about it. But Troy, we need to sit you down, partner.
Hey, bro, intervention is so strong. I'm glad you used that word. Intervention.
Oh, I
man.
hate you guys.
That is hilarious.
You know what? And I was gonna pose a question, but I can't because me and Troy, we go back and forth with this.
Oh,
Everybody has some mental issues. It's just, and in lighter terms, I say everybody's crazy. It's just to what degree?
Yeah.
You know,
so,
what degree?
So, great. God damn, I ain't even talked to Shannon, but he be setting me up. What degree are you crazy? And I love my most beautiful because she always puts things in perspective to make it so a layman such as myself can understand. And I'm going to get into to our health as far as Black men are concerned. But I do want to just touch on this because I think it's important, Shannon, that you said it, that we share with our sisters too, how important, understanding our mental capacity is and how strong it is and how powerful it is in our daily lives. So we have a little niece. Our little niece is, I want to say 9 years old. And her little ass is crazy. And that's cool. I love it. That works for me. But what my wife tells her all the time is there's a difference between you and I. And when saying, I'm talking to my wife and my niece. There's a difference between you and I. See, you don't know how to control your crazy. You just a wild ass little 9-year-old. Where my wife is like, I'm a grown ass woman. I know I'm crazy, but I know how to control it. It goes back to the thought process of, a young spider biting someone, putting all the venom in, and then he ain't got nothing left. Whereas an older, mature spider will only bite so much, give a little bit of venom, but hey, stay away. I got some more where that come from. And so I think that's important to understand that, we all are crazy. It's how you work with it, how you allow it to be a part of your life. If you sit here and say I'm not crazy, you're a liar.
You're the crazy one.
You're the crazy one.
You sit here as a Black man, and because there's been a couple of Black men that are young brothers who I've ran into, and they all have a sense of misplaced urgency. The idea of, and this is just a symptomatic thing of their environment and how they grew up, without understanding that not everything is important to everybody. It may be important to you, but it's not important to everybody. And you're not the only one who's running around in this world. It is just a matter of, and just so everybody can really understand this. So if I get a phone call. I had a young man call me while me and my family was on vacation in Tahoe. If you're in Tahoe, you don't have no reception. And I kind of vaguely heard, and I just kind of assumed who it was. But when I got back home, he was all in a panic. He was like, man, I called you and you didn't pick up and I didn't know what to do. I'm like, hold on. I was on vacation. Well, I didn't know. Well, why would you know that I was on vacation? And I had to sit him down and calm him down and get him to understand just because somebody doesn't pick up, it's not them being disrespectful towards you. But he was dealing with a lot of trauma that he's never really dealt with, that he never sat down with somebody and said, you know what, I have separation anxiety, I have displacement, I have abandonment issues, and so on and so forth. And so we sat and we talked, and just to get an understanding of the things, because that's what we go through as Black men. Every Black man on some level has some sort of abandonment issues. Not everyone. I'm not going to say that. Not all of us. But I will say most of us, though, do have some sort of abandonment issues. We have things that may remind us of something, that may trigger something, and we act a certain way, that we may take something that's maybe a 5 set of issue and make it an 8.
Yeah.
And it's just simply because as Black men, we were never told that it's okay to have issues.
You know what?
We were never told that. What are we told? Shannon, what are we told as men?
As men, you don't cry. You stand up, you do what you got to do.
You take care of your business.
Right. You take care of your business. And I guess as we get older and we turn into men, it becomes an issue of pride. And then it also becomes an issue of self-reliance. Are you willing to admit your own truths to yourself of the trauma that you face?
Yeah.
You have to be, and I can speak to my own traumas. I can't speak to anybody else. I think as a Black man, and for everything I've been through, I've dealt with it accordingly. And while it may not have been accordingly in society's eyes, it was accordingly in my eyes, and that's all that matters, if that's what it takes for a person to heal. At the end of the day, our Black men are growing up in single parent homes or abusive homes. They're dealing with stuff in different communities. They can have both parents and they can still face traumas that no white person will ever understand.
Oh, yeah. Well, for that matter, no one, we don't understand. There's certain traumas that you have, Shannon, certain traumas that you have, Smitty, that I cannot deal. I don't understand. I try to have an understanding about a lot of things, but since I didn't go through them, I can't tell you how to get out of them. And that's one of the things that we run into a lot. I think that since a lot of us haven't dealt with our own stuff, we don't have the tools to reach back to tell the next set of brothers that, you know what, this is how I got out of this. Let me help you. So we don't repeat this. We don't repeat this ridiculous cycle where we don't, tell each other that we love each other. We tell each other that we love each other as men. And that's just a simple thing.
And when I look at our community, man, because it's not just about the male image, and this issue is bigger than just the male image. We also have to look at our sisters out there. These women, they feel a need to rely on that male in their life and don't realize that they don't need a man. And yes, God intended for man and woman to be together, but me talking about our younger generation out here, our younger generation is kind of lost, and they have this concept. Maybe it's because of issues at home, not having a father. I don't know what it is, but it's like they have daddy issues. And then we have these no good niggas, I'll say it, that get in these women's life and kind of screw them up, and they make them bad goods for that next person that is a decent person.
Oh yeah.
So we need to start correcting that as well. And when you see somebody out there, they ain't no good. That's where that male needs to step to that other male and kind of check them. Let them know. Because right now,
Bro, that's not
Right.
cool.
yeah, our younger generation is screwed up. They watch all this bullshit with these rap videos and this and that, and they believe this stuff, and they believe they want to listen to Snoop Dogg talking about pimping, and they don't realize that this is nothing to be bragging or boasting about. You're destroying our race.
And it's stuff, and it's something that y'all don't know how to do, honestly.
No,
And honestly,
Honestly.
if they knew the truth, because I know real pimps. If they knew what it took to be a
Facts.
pimp,
That's what I'm saying.
they don't want to be a pimp because that means they got to give up their own booty. They got to get out there and train. And how do you train? By showing.
hey, damn,
Wait,
Shannon,
what?
that's
Hold on.
that's
Wait,
a cold
what?
image, dog. That's a cold image, man.
Yeah, that mess with me. That's not, no. I'm gonna say
That's
no
a
to
cold image, dog.
Because
That's a cold image.
you went
I already know where
prison
Shannon-
pimping on us.
No,
I think.
Shannon is referring to the preacher pimps. So anyway, I don't want to go there.
Oh, is that what he
You're-
went to? Bro.
Yeah.
Mm.
This right here
Go
is
ahead,
my
Smitty,
wheelhouse.
please.
So if I go off on a tangent, I'm hoping someone's going to interject and stop me. But this is where I put all of my emphasis and my motivation and my energy is to kind of correct where we've lost path at. And each one of you guys brought up awesome points, and I think it's phenomenal that as three Black men we can sit here and have this conversation about our mental stability as individuals and then as a whole. You know, my God, we have generational burdens that we didn't ask for, that was put on us by somebody else. Our normal is different than everybody else's normal. That's what we need to start understanding. And it's okay for us to be crazy. It's okay for us to be upset. It's okay for us to lash out uncontrollably because we don't know how to. We've never given those remedies to talk about our feelings, about our father not being in the house, or our mother on dope, or our brother being beat up, or my cousin or my uncle, or whatever the case is. And a lot of these things, we grow up, like Shannon said earlier, you don't cry. In the hood, you don't cry. As a Black man, you don't cry. That's just not what we do because that's a sign of weakness. That means you ain't strong. You know, and that's a bold ass damn lie.
Mhm.
You got to get some crying now to get that part of that emotion of you, to get that brain function part working back there so you can start to understand some things. You know, we got this crazy mixed up world, like Shannon said, about these rappers and this TV and this entertainment and this thought process on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok or whatever about what you gotta be and what you ain't supposed to be like. You know, and that's one of our problems. We got this notion from we got 17-year-olds right now. I'm gonna go 18 to about 30s about this notion of get rich or die trying. What kind of dumb shit is that? You're gonna kill yourself to be rich on money, and money ain't gonna protect you from everything.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's so much more to getting rich. You got to dig. I don't think 50 meant rich money to a certain extent. I'm sure he did. But if you dig deeper into the words, it was so much more about money. You know, you got to get rich on who you are, on how your history is, on what your mental mind state is. Again, I told y'all I can talk all night about this because this is my pet peeve with my young folks is we don't have no OGs breaking it down to us, trying to break these cycles. Man, that's what I'm about. I've been trying to break cycles with my sons since they came into this world because I can't have them doing the same shit I did or that my dad did. We ain't growing as a people. We ain't evolving. We ain't saving nobody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I want to get us to the man. If you young and Black right now, I need you to listen to me. If you OG right now, I need you to listen to me. If you a white American, you know some Black folks, I need you to listen to me what I'm about to tell you because this is real. I'm coming up in East Oakland with just my mom. My father's 33,000 miles across the state or across the country. Who do I look up to? Who's there to help me when I don't know nothing? Man, I got OGs in the hood who came up in the hood, in the streets of Oakland. I got my old head cousins. They 15, they 19. They telling me one thing. The streets is raising me. And like Shannon said, what the streets tell you, don't cry. Be hard. So now I'm walking around with a mean mug because I don't know how to smile. I'm looking hella crazy at my mom because I don't know how to smile. They taught me how to survive. They didn't teach me how to be a human fucking being. That's our problems when they try to segregate young black men and say we act like wild beasts. Goddamn right, because we don't know no better. No one's telling us any different. So when we start to talk about breaking these cycles, we need to start understanding this. I want to, man, listen to me. I love my OG cousin to death. I love him to death. I'll die for him. I love my uncles. They didn't teach me how to hold a girl's hand. They didn't teach me to say I love you. They didn't teach me the fragility of a black woman's heart. Those are three important components to being a human being, to being a man, to having a woman that loves you and respects you. I took baggage from growing up in a hood, in an environment where I had to survive. I brought that shit into my marriage. And it damn near cost me my marriage because I'm thinking I'm being a man. I'm not being a man. I'm being a savage animal. I'm being a savage animal trying to survive. I ain't even know how to love my wife. Me and my wife have been together almost 20 years now. We've been married almost 20 years. We've been together for almost 25. You know what I'm saying? But it took her to show me how to be a man, how to love somebody, how to be vulnerable. Those are our problems. And bruhs, I'm trying to tell you, it's okay to cry.
Yes.
It's okay to be hurt. It's okay that your dad left you. It's okay your mom gave you up for adoption or all these. This ain't things that they wanted. These are things that was put on them by generations on some shit a long time ago that some white folks was trying to control us and shit. Now I'm not blaming all our problems or all my anxieties on white folks. That's stupid and irresponsible. But what I am trying to get to young folks to understand is you can get through it once you just listen and open up and understand. You ain't gonna die to be happy. You ain't gonna die to get out the hood. You ain't gonna die to find someone that loves you. Man, I deal with young folks every day. I'm not telling them I love them. I don't even know them, but they ain't never heard it. They ain't never heard it from their parents. They probably ain't never heard it from their grandparents. I know damn sure they ain't hearing it from their teachers. You know what I'm saying? And again, I told you I can go on about this forever because this is my wheelhouse. We got young folks out here who don't know nothing. All they know is survival. They walking around with guns because that's what America is. America is violence. It was built on violence. So that's what they do. And then these motherfuckers that built this country want to blame young black men for the fucking violence problems. Come on, man, that's not what it is. So I'm telling you, if you're young and black, listen to me. I love you. I tell my brothers right here, I love them. I tell my player partner and my cousins who raised me, man, I love y'all. And I tell my sons, my son is a grown-ass man with a baby. My youngest son is 19. I tell him I love him. You have to say these things because Troy will tell you, Shannon will tell you. I started March off with 21 Heart 21. It takes 21 days to create a habit. 21 days to create a habit. So if you tell yourself I love you 21 times for 21 straight days, you're gonna create a habit. You're gonna change this mentality of this negative shit that these people put on us. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what?
Fucking generations of hatred that they made us feel like. We can't break it overnight, but damn it, we gotta start somewhere. And it started right here by we're talking about mental health. And it's okay if you're crazy. It's okay if shit bothers you. It's okay if a cat scares you. It's okay if gunshots scare you. It's okay if you're scared of the police because they dangerous too. It's okay if you don't like liver. It's okay. Damn it, it's okay. Embrace your normal. Sorry, Shannon, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You say
bro.
it's okay if you like liver?
No, I hear what you're saying. What I
facts.
did want to put out there is that as men, and this is the difference between boys and men. If you man and you got kids, you have sons, you need to train them the way you are. Raise them up to be better than what you are. You know,
better. The better.
Yeah,
The better.
they need to be better than you, true. And I'll say this, you know, I made plenty of changes in life and over the years, and I know that I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong. No secret. All of us are married. We have differences in our relationship. I jumped the gun. I was aggressive. I love my wife to death. I will say, I had to think about what took place, how it transpired, and how I was wrong. Then I had to go and apologize to her because our intention should never be to hurt the ones we love. It should be to build that person up. I just, people go out and get in these relationships or what can you do for me? It's not about what you can do for them. It's about what y'all can do for each other. There's no such thing as 50-50 in a relationship. So don't go out there looking for that. Our younger generation, they have to wake up. And this goes back to parents being parents and not relying on our school district and these teachers to parent your child or to raise your child. People, it's time. You wake up. If you haven't kids,
and you're right.
I want to say this.
You're right, and it is that
thing
idea.
Again, it goes back to us being men and not crying in this animal mentality. Here was my biggest problem, and I know there's some brothers out there right now. I know you out there. Here was my biggest problem. If somebody ever did something to me, I don't care. Even my wife, she'll tell you, I'm not lying. I'm not here to lie to nobody. If somebody did something to me and they try to apologize, I'm like, you ain't gonna apologize to me. I don't need your apology. That's not even the point. The point is, as a person, you have to be vulnerable enough to allow that person to heal by apologizing to you. It ain't even about you. That's where we all screwed up at. If somebody's apologizing to you, it ain't to kiss your ass. It's for them to heal inside. These are the things we don't
move
know.
on.
That's
and
not
to
taught
move
to
on.
us. Yeah.
Now I will say
And
this,
and it is.
in light,
What?
in light, I do have to say this because, as we know, we don't always get along with people, and we have to know that and recognize that. If I don't get along with you, please, and
when you
and
say
I have to say, if I don't get along with you, I don't mess with you, I don't call you, don't come up to me on the street and act like we cool and buddy, because I'm gonna look at you like somebody and drop some dog shit on your shirt and keep on moving. That's the way it's gonna be.
Wow. I had so many things that you kind of ruined everything I was going to say with we don't get along with everybody. That blew me away a little bit. I'm going to be honest. But it is
Hey, well, I want to say this
before
you get going. What's funny about that is ever since we made that comment that all calls go through me, I ain't got no phone calls. Go ahead, Troy, say what you got to say.
Ain't nobody calling. First of all, we all don't get me started with that. Anyway. But it is. There's certain things that as men, we are taught that isn't cool. To cry, to hug, to say I love you, to be vulnerable. To be, yes, you was right. I worked for one dude and I knew that I would never, that employment wasn't going to last long. I was talking to one of my coworkers and he was like, yeah, he taught me that, let's just call him Bob. I don't even remember his name. Yeah, Bob told me that men are never wrong. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, men are never wrong. We're just mistaken. I was like, no, that's stupid. But that's a mentality. That's just something that is built up that says that we can do whatever we want to do because we're men. And that's dumb. As men, we're supposed to be vulnerable. We're supposed to be strong. Vulnerability breeds strength because it takes a man to say, you know what, that was my fault. It takes a man to say, you know what, I wasn't right when I did that, or I shouldn't have done that. It takes a man to sit up and cry over some things. I didn't caught myself crying over some stuff I ain't got no business crying over. I was watching some movie the other day. It hit me all. Okay, what the? Oh no, I'm okay. Nope, I'm not letting that happen. But I can appreciate though that I can do that.
You almost cried when my fish got at you.
I did not almost cry. I got pissed off. I almost ate your fish. You keep playing with me in that fish. That fish gonna test our friendship. And you didn't even getting that Smitty. Smitty's the one who's bringing out the cornmeal. I didn't even bring that up. I was just gonna let him die on the floor. Smitty wanted cooking.
Hey,
Anyway, everybody. Oh, Shannon, go ahead. Your list.
Oh, my list.
Yes. Scooter.
Yeah.
hey, well, while Shannon's getting this list, I just want to thank you two for allowing me to vent on mental health because I think it's really important.
No, bro, you said everything that needed to be. You said everything.
A lot of our growth of what we're trying to accomplish, this cause, is going to take
Hold
us
on,
to have an
Smitty,
open mind.
Smitty. We haven't got to solutions yet.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Could you?
Well, I
hold
want
on?
to say this.
I just want
I
to
want
get
to
to
say
the
this.
list.
Since we ain't getting to
Damn.
solutions, and Shannon's getting his list.
I said we haven't got to solutions yet.
I'm not
Yet.
saying HBCUs. Check them out. Check them out. They're there for you. They're super less expensive than Duke and Michigan and Arizona and UCLA. Check them out. That's all I'm saying. That's not a solution. That's just an option. Just an option.
A shout out to HBCUs. Make it harder for people to get in. Make these students come with some. That's why, and I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't a fan of HBCUs until recently because I understood what it took to get into Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They don't just take everybody in. They make you have Cal. You have to have qualifications. For a period of time, HBCUs were just, oh, you got a pulse. Can you sit up in class? Okay, we'll take you. And that I developed, my own set of issues with that because I don't think it should be that easy to get a degree. And even to get into a college.
I just gotta say, why not? Why not? You have white Americans getting into Cal, MIT, Amherst, all these places just because they was white. They didn't have to have no.
Can I finish? I mean, let me just get my point out before you questioning me about my HBCUs. And it was the idea behind that. The idea behind that was how the rest of the nation looked at us. When Hurricane Katrina hit and all those HBCUs had to be evacuated, I had friends who had kids who were out there. And when they came back, they were like, yeah, I understand you were a junior there, but here you're a sophomore. Because the qualifications and those classes aren't as accredited as they are here as they were there. And I had to really think about that. And it's because it's easy for the qualifications to get into those schools have gotten a stigma where you can just get in as long as you got a pulse. And that's a problem. And that's just an honest problem.
Be another topic for us.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot. See, you got me aside. See,
Shannon, go ahead, dog.
If you just let me say it, would have been done.
Go
ahead. But I do love my HBCUs now because I do have another understanding about them and their importance. Not just getting into them, but their importance. Go ahead, Shannon. You're gonna get some calls on that.
Well, I just want people to remember.
Could you get to?
Yeah, I want people to remember. People like Emmett Till. His murders never convicted, never tried. And there's so many. And that's the problem. That's what's upsetting because the stuff is still taking place. Breonna Taylor, Freddie Gray, Bob Magine. The list goes on and on. Philando Castile. You know, I can name off names and everything and constantly keep naming them off. I guess my issue is that people need to be screaming these names. We need to see justice. We're not seeing it because nobody's saying it. These families are out here suffering because they've lost loved ones. Right, wrong, indifferent. Nobody has the right to take anyone's life, especially if it's a cop and they're here to protect and serve. It should never come down to where they feel a need. They need to pull a gun and shoot one of us just because of the color of our skin, because they say they fear for their life. But yet, time after time, we see white people in their face, cussing them, fighting them, and they live. They live to go back home to their families. So people, I'm asking, keep remembering these people's names. Keep mentioning them.
Hey, Patrick Lynn Warren Sr., 1968. Vincent Belmonte, 2001. Angelo Quinto, 2020. Andre Morris Hill, 2020. Angelo AJ Crones, 2004. Marcellus Stinnett, 2001. I mean, the list goes on. Dejan Kizzy, 1991. Rashard Brooks, 1993. This is not an isolated incident. This ain't even naming the runaway human beings who was running from the plantation that were murdered and slaughtered just because they didn't have white pigmentation. This is not an isolated incident of community service employees murdering Black people. Those names, we can't even begin to name those names. It'll take us forever to name those names of all those poor people who are trying to escape some hellacious things that we can never even fathom in our mind. So let that sink in. How many people ran away and got murdered just because they wanted to be free?
Facts. All right. Solutions, people. Who want to go first?
Solutions. My solution is
really nobody wants to go first.
Solution is if we're gonna grow, we got to start addressing ourselves and policing ourselves and understand where we're trying to go. Like we've been saying since the beginning, everybody's got a role to play. You got a position to hold down. You got something you're going to want to do. I heard this the other day when someone said, and it wasn't you guys, I was just talking to some folks in the community, and it was like, well, I'm not important. And I don't know who put that in your mind, but you are important. And Facts. I want to leave with this. I want to leave with this because this is a solution. This is a solution for you to do something to make a change is this. Heroes are not born. Heroes are made. And when the time is right, the opportunity is there for you. You just don't know it. Understand that.
Fine. All
right. That was straight facts.
That was good.
And that was really good. And I like the part about heroes. I really do. I like that part about heroes. I just don't need people to get it twisted. A firefighter running into a house saving people ain't no damn hero. He getting paid to do his job. This is what he trained to do. A cop going in and stopping a bank robbery is not a hero. They getting paid to do that. Troy jumping off the bridge and saving somebody's life would be a hero act. It would be heroic. And with that being said,
I'll give you that.
Yeah, my solution is plain and simple. Reflect upon yourself and correct the wrong in yourself. Focus on you so you can be a better you. Start figuring out solutions to create unity instead of this division. We need to work together, people. Parents, as we know, of the African community, we know it takes a village to raise our children. Don't let that not be the case. Utilize your brothers and sisters. Ask for help. To our fathers out here, don't let your male pride get in the way and hinder you from what you can have. Pay attention, people. Wake up. The signs are there. This is the time.
All right, right on. Now, so we touched on a few topics today. I want to go to the mental solution for mental health real quick. Ownership just isn't about a house. And what I mean by that is we take ownership of our faults because we're quick to put out our achievements out there, but nobody's perfect. Take ownership of your faults. That way no one else can mess with you. It's a matter of strength of saying that I am flawed. I am not perfect. This is where I messed up. I did that wrong. Once you say it, once you own it, no one can mess with you, and then you can start rebuilding yourself. Shannon and my brother Smitty, rebuilding yourself. Then once you fix yourself, now you can go out there and fix somebody else. Now you can go and take care of your sons. You can go take care of your nephews and your nieces. You can be a better person in a relationship, men and women both. You can be better. You can at least be better, good enough to take care of the ones who's coming up behind you. Now, second thing, we talked about, Shannon and Smitty both said, things will not change. They will not get better, and don't think about that. Now, the other part of that is, unless you get involved, unless you decide you really want to make a change. Getting involved means talking to people, getting ideas formulated, getting your lazy tail up and go vote. Georgia is trying to make sure that no one is going to vote unless you white and retired. Think about that. Go look at it's AB 202 is what it's called. Make sure you look at that. Thank y'all for hanging out. This was fun. My boy Smitty, my man Shan. Thank y'all as always for hanging out with us, people. Third show. Like us on Facebook. Like us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We got some stuff. We mixing some stuff, people. We're doing some things. So stay tuned. Beatrice, hopefully we can get you on a show to make an appearance soon, just to pop in and, then you can bail out or whatever.
B was hosting the show the other night. Shout out, B. I seen you working.
Yeah, she was working. She was working. Yeah. Matter of fact, what she tell me?
She had a few. Matter of fact, I think you made that up.
I didn't make that up.
She messed up a little bit. She messed up a little bit. She had some audience. She had some technical difficulties, but she persevered. Great job, Beatrice. Great job. Thank y'all for hanging out, people.
Peace.
Love you.
Love you.